Hey guys, this will serve as the weekly overview for March 31st. We are in the third week of our block as we're preparing for Murph. We kind of went through some testing in the first couple weeks so we can kind of get set, and now we're going to be getting into a little bit more of that practice and start working our way towards the working volume and time demand we need for Murph. So on Monday we're going to open up with a bench press times 5 on the 2.5 minutes for 6 sets. 2 sets at 70, so we're just keeping that at the same percentage there. If you don't have a percentage, just think like, hey, comfortable weight, still looks really good. 2 sets there, and then you have 2 sets to build after that. So you go 1, 2. You're gonna say you did 100 at 70, and then you turn around and you're gonna go, 110, 120, and then we're going back down to 85 or 89 or 90% of that 120. So we're going back down to 110 to 120, or to 110 to 105. And then you're going to hit 5 sets there, or 2 sets of 5 there. So that's how we're going to accomplish that. Again, we're going to record each set. We're just getting some good volume in, working that hypertrophy range and strength range for the horizontal press. And then we are going to roll into some muscular endurance for the push-ups. So we have 3 rounds for time, 20 calories on the rower, and then 15 dumbbell push press, 15 toes to bar, and 20 push-ups. Now, this is obviously created to make the push-ups very difficult. So as we look at this, guys, we have that row. Again, you should be able to move nice and smooth there. It's not a lot of row calories, but we're trying to keep that to roughly a minute. Then we're going to roll into those 15 dumbbell push press. And this is where I really choose the weight that, you can move really well. For sure, 2 rounds are going to be unbroken. That third one, you might break strategically just to keep the push-ups, alive and fresh, and that's fine. And then we have those 15 toes to bar. Again, we're looking at 2 to 3 sets there. Even if you chose to do 5s right off the bat, I think that's cool. But that's where you would scale. It's like if it's 3 sets, maybe you just do 12 for the whole workout, 3 rounds of 12, and allow yourself to have that little break, or be able to break it up into those smaller sets. And the same thing with the push-ups of 20. Sets of 5 there is totally acceptable. But that top target of sub 8 all the way down to sub 12, I think it keeps you. If you do one of these a minute, that keeps you to 12 minutes. So you can even look at pacing that for that. And for our RX Plus, we have the deficit option on the push-ups with the dumbbell where the chest is touching the ground and the hands are on the dumbbell, so it's a little bit of a deficit. For fitness, we're really just going to be keeping those kipping leg raises, working on that tension and compression and really getting the coordination of the kip as best we can, right? Again, we want that done in just a few sets, so if we have to break that down, bring that down to 6 to 9, that's fine as well. Push-ups, 15, but those can go all the way down to 10. If you can do 10 without doing it on the knees or doing it to an elevated surface, that's what we would do. But if we have to, then that's where we would start breaking it down and, just bringing the reps down a little bit. All in all, we're trying to really start working our way towards that 200 rep range that is needed for that RX Murph. This only putting us at 60. We will be doing some pressing later on in the week as we look at the total volume for the week, slowly coming up to that 200 and then trying to push it closer to the actual, the 200 reps needed for Murph. So we went through Cindy. We had Cindy last week. Good tester, good initiation to the volume, and then we're going to roll from there. Okay, on Tuesday, we have to start out a 16-minute EMOM. All right, what we're going to be doing for the performance is 2 power cleans and plus 3 front squats on the first minute, and then 3 to 5 box jumps with no rebounding, on the second minute. Now, for the barbell specifically, looking at roughly 65% of your 1 rep max clean. We haven't, it's been a few weeks, but just again, think about that as a weight you can really move very well. And again, it's not a ton of volume on the front squat or on the power clean, but adding the front squats can change that percentage for you specifically, depending on if you're better at squatting than pulling. As we look at this, though, you can go 65% for 2 sets, go to 70 for 2 sets, then go to 75, 80, and just working your way up. We can go up to 85%. And again, I don't really care how heavy you go as long as it looks really good and you feel really crisp. That's all we're trying to do here because we do have a lot of volume on the back half of this. And so we're not trying to really hit something that's going to really put us in a weird spot or set our back, get a weird back position or a weird shoulder position with the catch because we are going to roll into some volume after this. But before we get there, let's talk about the fitness side. We have those 3 hang power cleans. So we're going to keep the barbell in, but we're just going to work from the hang so we can just work on the positions. And then you're going to do 3 to 5 goblet squats after that. And just again, we want to push that weight as best we can. But if you struggle with the front squat in the front rack, today we're not going to worry about it. We're just going to do the power cleans, roll into your front squats, and then we are still going to have you jump. So with the jumps, this is for everybody. You're choosing a height that's challenging, but you're not going to miss because we just can work on jumping really high and landing high. Okay, jump high, land high is kind of always the thing with the box jump when we're working it like this specifically. This isn't in a Metcon. This is in we're trying to produce power, we're trying to display, our power and force and our ability to jump. So first we can start out by jumping flat-footed and then jumping as high as I can. That's really the toughest option. And then we can go into like a counter step where you're on your toes, come down and then jump. And then the last would be a step in and jump. So really choosing which one you can do there. If you're really fearful or newer to the box, I think a step in and jump is totally fine, or up on the toes and then down and jump is fine. If you're really comfortable with jumping, you're really trying to jump from that flat-footed position and land really tall. Okay, on to the second part of this workout. So for the performance, we have 30 power cleans for time, but at the 0 and on the 2 minutes, we're going to do 20 air squats. Our arc weight can go up to 225 and 145 for the ladies, or 185 and 125 for the guys. Now, when choosing weight, we just need to be able to maintain 6 reps every 2 minutes. So depending on how fast you can air squat or whatever, we need to be able to do 6 reps every 2 minutes. 20 air squats could take anyone from 30 seconds to a minute. I would say in this workout, keeping it roughly to 45 seconds to a minute is totally acceptable. So you'll have a minute 15 to a minute to do your power cleans, and we need to just try to maintain that 6 reps during that time. So that's the weight we're trying to choose. Okay, so choose a weight that we know we can maintain there. I think, again, on this fast end is like you're able to do 10 to 12, and I don't think there's anything wrong with going a little bit lighter and trying to push to where you can do 10 to 12 really good reps during that time. Just that's what we want to kind of be focusing on, is just make sure we're keeping it well. Like the weight, you're allowed to push it, but make sure that you're staying in positions. We're not catching anything really weird, and hopefully we didn't push the first part so hard that we can't stay in positions here. Now for the fitness, we're just going to go with an AMRAP. So we have 1 minute of air squats on the first minute. On the second minute, we're going to have those hang power cleans. And given kind of a weight range of 75 to 115 and 55 to 75, but it could even be lighter than that. What we really want to look for here is, being able to keep, really good form intact and, completing it in at least sets of 5 and just breathing through it. Like, we're under control. We're not having to hold our breath. Because this is 10 minutes of continuous work for fitness for sure. So again, pick something you can maintain really quality sets for that minute. And then on the other minute, you're just trying to move consistently with the air squats, trying to hit about the same amount of reps each and every time. All right, on Wednesday, this is the first time programming this. And this is, double Helen. Helen is a benchmark workout, which is 3 rounds for time, which that is going to be our fitness version for the day. But let's talk about the double Helen first. And all we're doing is doubling rounds. I've seen this done as double the work, where you just do an 800, 42, and 24. But I kind of wanted to keep the volume a little bit lower here today to keep us and keep our output a little bit higher. And just as we're getting into running longer distances and more volume, it's just, hey, let's just stick with 400 still. So when looking at this, trying to keep that 400 to 230 at the slowest I think is just a good target for everybody. We can bring the pull-ups, or we can pull it back to 200 meters, and this is more for the fitness if needed. But we have a 30-minute cap for this double Helen, and I want to try to keep this other one to sub 18, so there's 2 different time domains we're looking at here. But it's just based on experience. Now, when it comes to kettlebell swings, as you guys have done this before, when you do Helen and you can do all these things unbroken, you're moving very fast. For today, I'd really try to keep the kettlebell swings nice and crisp, pointing it overhead, knowing that you're going into those pull-ups, you're going to have those extra rounds, is, use the run, kind of push the run a little bit, and then move into those kettlebell swings, just moving nice and smooth, breathing each rep, not trying to move it as fast as possible, a nice smooth 12 reps, if possible, unbroken. Or, we can do that in 2 to 3 sets for most of these rounds. I think that's fine. And then if we have to scale that back, then that's when we scale it back to maybe 9 a round. And again, we're looking at total volume. For Murph, we're going to need 100 pull-ups. This is, 72 if done as it's written. So keep that in mind. It's like, it is a good amount of volume if you hit, the RX, so we're getting a little bit closer. But if you had to scale that back even to 10 or even 9, that is a good step in the right direction, as we have a lot of weeks to keep accumulating volume over the, until we get to Murph ultimately in about 8 weeks or so. So keep that in mind, guys. That's what we're looking for. Now, for the fitness, we're running Helen. So if you've never ran Helen, you might as well run Helen. If you're a really fast runner, you will be at that sub 8 or sub 9 minute mark. So it's a lot shorter time domain. But it is good, especially if you want to just like push the power, push the intensity. This is a really good workout for that. when we look at the how we want to break this up, again, kettlebell swings no more than 2 to 3 sets per round. If we have to, we limit the range of motion of the swings, just bringing it to the eyes, and then after that, and or lowering the weight. We can either do that instead of, or in lieu of, or with. So on the pull-ups, no more than 2 to 3 sets, as we said before. First, drop the sets. Drop the reps. It says weight. Yeah, so drop the reps to 7 to 10, or move to 12 jumping chest to bar pull-ups. So the first thing we do is we still do pull-ups. We bring the volume down, and this would even count for this too. We're bringing that volume down somewhere around that 7 to 10 mark. And then, just keeping that consistently. And then if we have to, we're going to move to the 12 jumping chest to bars. So lots of options, lots of ways to do this, lots of time to prepare for it as this is all we're doing for the class that day. So we're really going to focus on really those mechanics and getting everybody into the right position to succeed and to have a really good either test of Helen or this new benchmark that we're going to be messing around with, which is the double Helen. All right, Thursday, continuing with those strength aerobics that we've been kind of playing with. I know that those progressive pull-ups are kind of tough, so we're going to kind of mix it up today, and we're going to kind of switch it. We're going to more of a hinge pattern. Now, we did just do a bunch of kettlebell swings the day before, so we are going to look at this narrow sumo deadlift stance, okay? So that just means like hands are right around shoulder width. The feet are outside the hips, round shoulder width, and then the hands are inside of the legs. Chest is tall. What that position allows us to do is, alleviate the back a little bit. And then honestly, you can go as wide as you need to get the back angle upright and to feel really good, because we really want to just be training the glutes, the posterior chain, the hamstrings. So getting that up, getting that nice vertical chest and standing, it's a little bit less stress on the back. And we're just looking at 2 to 3 singles at 65 to 70%. But realistically, that could be lower. We haven't been deadlifting a ton. So, just kind of remember that should still be very crisp. We're not building. If anything, if we see any kind of position breakdown at all, we're lowering the weight. So no one should have a bad back position. No one should even leave today, even excessively sore from those single pulls, because we're just doing the concentric. You don't have to lower it. I just want you to pull up, feel really strong at the top. We're braced. We're in a good position. Drop the bar, reset, do it again. And then on the 45 seconds, we're going to go 3 to 5 strict gymnastic press. So we can go, strict handstand push-ups, strict dips, or tempo push-ups. So you notice we are not doing kipping, nothing like that. We're focusing on the actual strength of the movement. Now, 3 to 5 reps, we need to make sure that that's tough. But even if it was 2 reps, that would be okay too. But we wouldn't want something that we could easily do 6 or 7 reps on. So you can add a deficit to the handstand push-up. You can add a tempo to the dip or the handstand push-up, or whatever you need to do really to make 3 to 5 reps really tough and really a focus point of really great range of motion and control, and just how we want to just move consistently throughout that movement from the start to the finish. On that last one, we're just progressing from that pike sit up the same way we've done. Again, that L sit will be available for people. But, again, we're just going to progress in time. If you guys did this last time, you want to try to go for 15 seconds this time, that would be good. The L sit obviously is tough, but even an L tuck or something like that, progressing to that. It is 10 rounds, guys. This is one of those things that feels really easy when you start, and then, you get halfway through. It gets a little tougher, but we should feel really good when we're leaving a day like today. Even if we came in sore, this is really about just moving well, and you can always scale down everything that you need to just to leave there feeling really good and move through the range of motion. All right, Friday, we got a really just a capacity day. We've done a lot of 4-time all week, so we're going to go with a little AMRAP. And what we're going to be doing here is 27 or 21 calories on the bike. Now, for larger classes, I had given like this other option, so just keep that in mind. It's written down below, though, so we don't have to write it up here. And this is for larger classes you could run, and if you didn't run earlier this week and you want to run anyway, you could run. It's just good to get running in right now. Ski, row, whatever. We're going to stretch afterwards. Now, what we're looking for here, guys, is that we have that 21 wall ball and those 15 burpees. Again, as we are looking at this, this is roughly going to take 1.5 to 2 minutes. Then we've got a minute to a minute and a half, and then we've got the burpees. Now, this is just a nice, easy flow, and we're choosing the wall ball weight. I think even if that weight is hard for you, it's like, hey, maybe pace the bike a little bit more to push larger sets on the wall ball. Okay, it wouldn't be bad. I mean, to cost yourself an extra 15 seconds here to be able to go unbroken here. at least for as long as you can. Now, the way you kind of know like how long it is right when you feel like it's getting tough, break there. Don't push that as your last set. Never fail, right? So push it to where you can. And then just look at the clock. Even quick sets of 11, 10, or in even some cases breaking that up in 8, 7, 6 or something like that would work as well. Now on the burpees, we want to see that, we're moving with we're hopping down. We're not lowering ourselves down. We're bringing our hips up really high. If we're bringing up 2 feet, we're landing with our feet flat, then jumping. If we're bringing up 1 foot, again, we're landing with 1 foot flat, other foot next to it, and jumping. This should be a very smooth and good-looking burpee. All right, it's 20 minutes, so we're not going to be blasting these things as fast as possible. You can really hold a really good clip on 15 burpees if just by moving really consistently. Now with the fitness, we just brought the volume down and everything, but all the rest of the standards and everything applies. Now I want to put this out like top targets of 6+ rounds. It's 20 reps a minute, so that's pretty good. And that's tough. I mean, it's easier for maybe a wall ball, and it's kind of tough for the burpee and kind of tough. So I think 6 rounds is pretty tough. It's a pretty tough target. And honestly, I would rather you guys just try to focus on moving really consistently for 20 minutes, and then just pushing hard at the end. All right. And yeah, so that's only what we got there. Again, stretching afterwards, hamstring, posterior chain, adductors in the straddle stretch, things like that. And even put, couch stretch. Just getting some positions that will undo your hips and make sure your hamstrings and hips feel really good when you leave here. Let's see if we can spell it. All right. On Saturday, teams of 2. All right, we're going to be, we'll be pushing a little bit more of the dumbbells and pressing. We're just more of a full body stuff. We're kind of leaning towards the upper body as we came off of yesterday. So we have 6 rounds each. So I go first. I do 3 wall walks, 6 box jumps, 12 dumbbell shoulder overhead, and then the next partner goes. All right. When we look at this, we just brought back some of the reps here on this fitness side, but we can also do an inchworm to hollow, and then just doing limited range of motion wall walks. When we look at this, I'd like to see this take maybe around a minute roughly. And you have plenty of time to rest, but obviously we are challenging that upper body pressing endurance and shoulder endurance. So just keep that in mind, is when you pick a dumbbell weight today for sure, is now again, it's we want to try to push that weight that we know we can move unbroken. We did push press earlier in the week. Now you can even add in a push jerk to this position. All right, but it's roughly the same weight range, so you should know how that felt, for the 3 rounds, and then hopefully we can move it here and make it feel a little bit better. All right, guys, that's all we have. Sorry, these videos have been a little inconsistent as far as timing-wise. I'm working on it, but if you guys ever have any questions, you can reach out to me at brandon@makocrossfit.com or on Instagram, or obviously if I see you in the gym. Even if I'm training or whatever, don't feel like you can't just walk up and say what's up. And ask any questions you have, especially when it comes to programming, progress, how you should be approaching the week, nutrition, anything you guys have. If you guys ever see me, I love to talk to you guys about training and fitness and health. So always feel free to stop by. See you in there.